So who was your Super Bowl prediction going into
We
the
had
season?
the same one.
We did. So Bills versus the Bucks. On my weekly show on NFL Network, Game Day Morning, on Thanksgiving, they allowed me a mulligan. I took it.
Ooh.
Yeah, every Thanksgiving show we're allowed a mulligan from our preseason pick. I took it. I got off of Bills and Bucks and went on Chiefs and Niners.
I was just about to say that. What is with this?
Look at us.
Wow, look at you.
This is us. Right
Literally,
now, right now.
when you said mulligan, and I was thinking, my mind was like, okay, what's my
Okay. So did you choose the Niners or the Chiefs to win it? Who did you choose?
Chiefs.
I went the other way.
Okay, well.
I went the other way. I just can't
quit that, man.
Kyle Shanahan, and I can't quit McCaffrey's addition.
Yeah.
And then I also love what the defense is doing. If they stay healthy,
incredible.
They can really just take down anybody. And that's the thought I have about getting past the Eagles as well. Jalen Hurts, your reigning offensive player of the week in the NFC. What he just did was just spectacular, and he is an MVP candidate for sure. But that's where I'm standing right now on that front.
I think it's a tough matchup, too, for the Eagles, not just to talk about the defense, but the Eagles' weakness, as we've seen over the last few weeks, have been stopping the run. So the fact that the Niners and the Cowboys are the two, foremost competitors in the NFC is not great for them, even with Jordan Davis coming back. This Niners defense, first of all, this week against Miami, oh my God.
I know, right?
Why is that not in prime time? It's infuriating to me.
It is, as a matter of fact. It is on Sunday night, isn't it?
No.
No. It's an afternoon game.
Oh, that's right. That's right. My bad.
Colts, Cowboys.
My bad.
But I just love watching them so much.
Mm-hmm.
The defensive line, it reminds me a little bit actually of the Super Bowl Eagles, where it's just waves of dudes. Every defensive lineman who comes and plays for Chris Sark and that defense suddenly has like this rebirth of his career. They get Eric Armstead back, hopefully this week. And then behind them, I don't think enough people are talking about the season that Fred Warner is having. He's always been one of the best middle linebackers of football, playing out of his mind. So to have him manning the middle against the field against a Dolphins offense this week that specializes in middle of the field throws.
Yes.
I mean, you can't ask for a better matchup than that.
Yeah, McDaniel bringing this team in.
Ooh, and it's getting spicy. Have you been following a little bit of the...
Go for it.
So I think it was, I don't want to misattribute this, but I think it was Raheem Mostert who...
Oh, that's right.
Ty Dunn quoted him saying, being a little bit chippy about leaving San Francisco. And then there's been some chirps back and forth between,
Well, he said he hasn't. Now I know what you're picking up on what you're saying. He said he wasn't being. He was sort of backpedaling back a little bit about Jimmy G and all that stuff.
But it's out of the cage now, and you're getting little chippy quotes between both sides. And
this is a great matchup, and I don't think anybody saw the Dolphins having the better record. And Tua looking the way that he's looked going into this game. Nobody saw that one coming either.
It's just such a great styles make fights kind of matchup too, because these offenses they share the same DNA, but they've gone in like two totally different directions in terms of yards after the catch and the way that offense and the way the quarterbacks what they're asked to do, and it's just so exciting.
So I'll give you here's a sports talk radio conversation. we don't have the topic bar at the bottom that you might be used to on ESPN. But the team that's on the outside, not a division leader right now, one would say, that has the best chance to make it, the Dolphins or the Bengals. Who would you choose right now?
Oh, are the Dolphins not in the league?
They have a piece right now. What do you got?
I would go with the Dolphins, although I really love what the Bengals have been doing. The Bengals have the hardest schedule, I think, in the NFL remaining, which is...
We got the Chiefs this week, too.
That's going to be really challenging. I really like some of the adjustments they've made. I thought the defense in particular against Tennessee was spectacular. But the Dolphins' offense right now is just something new. Right? Like, you've watched a lot of football. I mean, the combination of those two wide receivers with this scheme and then a quarterback who has total faith in the scheme and makes those anticipatory throws over the middle of the field, it just feels like new to me. And I think they're about to go into a really difficult stretch. They're going to be tested in a way they haven't been over the last few weeks.
Yes.
But I just think that combination, that speed, all of it is just so hard to defend.
Yeah, I have the schedules right here. I mean,
it gets tough.
We've been talking about the 6-week stretch that Tua will have to finish and the Dolphins will have to finish with. This is where rubber meets road, including 3 road games in a row. So they got San Francisco, then they come down just up the road here to take on the Chargers. That's just been flexed into the latest example of what Denver has wrought, that they NBC says, we'll take the Mahomes game off our schedule. That's now been flexed into a Sunday night game. And then the Miami Dolphins have got a visit to Buffalo to try and sweep the Buffalo Bills before a Christmas Day game against the Packers, at New England, home for the Jets. That's pretty tough. And then you take a look at the Bengals' remaining schedule. I mean, would you say it's tougher? You got home for Kansas City, home for Cleveland, the Battle of Ohio. We all know that Cleveland just absolutely tricked them instead of the treat on Halloween night. See what I did just there? At Tampa, at New England, home for Buffalo, home for Baltimore.
Both tough.
It's tough.
I think both are playoff teams, though, regardless. And I think whoever makes it through better is the more ready for January.
Well, that's what I like. That's what I like about the Bengals is that I feel like they're so battle tested right now. Like getting through this stretch without Jamar Chase, and you've seen the offense really evolve a lot over the course of the season. We talked about this in my podcast this week. You know, the Bengals' struggles against cover 2, Tampa 2 at the beginning of the season were well documented. Those go balls just weren't there. The offensive line was struggling. They couldn't get anything going in the run game. It was also siloed. And you've seen like Joe Burrow and Zach Taylor just kind of like evolve a little bit week to week. And against Tennessee, you saw it wasn't really airing it out against those defensive looks, but he was willing to take what was given to him. He wasn't pressured that much. And then when the deep shots to Teakins opened up the sideline, he took them in the second half. And I watched that. I was like, oh man, this Bengals team is actually better than they were last season. They got a little lucky last season with injuries and competition, but this version, they've kind of been through the fire, and I think they're going to come out on the other side better for it.
And prior to the Tennessee game, the NFL Network research staff, the crack staff there, came out with a graphic that we put up on the screen on NFL Game Day morning on Sunday, is that this Bengals team and last year's Bengal team, through 10 games, same record, same points per game that they score. I mean, literally same offensive touchdowns, almost the same points per game allowed. They have the same base through 10 games this year as they had last year. So it's entirely possible they can go on that run. And, of course, that run last year did start with a home victory against the Chiefs, and that's who they have this week. It is kind of wild how much we're overlooking them, but nobody saw the Dolphins coming. I mean, the AFC is somewhat, you could say, wide open. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.